Well, welcome back this morning. I'm surrounded by pretty artwork. That's what I'm doing, some good photography out there. It's one-of-a-kind photography from some exotic locations around the world. And two brothers are sharing their passion for the ocean and all of its living creatures with one-of-a-kind pieces of art just like this. The brothers, John and Dan Cesere, join us now with more. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here. First and foremost, you guys are, I stumbled across you guys. I wandered into the Mall of America last week, and I was heading to the Lego store to make a little Christmas return. All of a sudden I look over and I see this giant fish staring at me. I'm like, whoa, that's gorgeous. So I wandered in, I met you guys and found out for guys that take pictures under the water and you live in the tropics and you travel all of those warm waters, you grew up in Maine. How do you get from Maine to where you are now?
Yeah.
We grew up in Maine, and we lived across the street from the ocean, and we fell in love with it, and we wanted to be like Jacques Cousteau, and our kind of dream never died.
That's, I mean, there's a passion that's there, but I would think that where you are now, the warmer waters are a little better than the waters off of Maine. Did you guys learn to dive while you were in Maine?
We learned to dive, but we were mostly kind of in tide pools and snorkeling and stuff like that. We tried making makeshift diving with like soda bottles and straws and stuff, but it didn't work that well.
Yeah.
So kind of when we went into college, we actually got really certified. And then right after college, we moved out to Maui and said, this is the place to do it.
Which came first, the love for the ocean and the diving into it, or the pictures of, or just photography in general?
I would say the ocean was kind of our first love. Yeah. We just wanted to share what we were finding with everyone because we were dive instructors and boat captains and stuff like that, and we just wanted to share all these experiences with people. And one of the best ways to do that was through our photography.
And how long have you guys been doing this?
Probably like 14 years now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, are you classically trained photographers to do this, or did it just come about where you kind of had to develop your own techniques in the world?
Yeah.
We took some college classes,
Yeah.
and actually in high school, so we learned, we had a little bit of formal training, but most of the underwater stuff happens kind of on the fly. We learned a lot, from other people,
Right.
and just by doing it and experiencing. I mean, we have probably like 7,000 dives each, and probably 5,000 with a camera, so we have just tons of time in the water with cameras and just kind of practice.
Yeah, I would think we're going to show some examples of some of your work here because it just speaks for itself. But whereas even nature photographers can control lighting in some point by time of day or weather around, once you're underwater, you're kind of going to get what you're going to get.
Yes.
There's not a lot of control there. So you have to adapt to the situations. Tell us a little bit about some of these pictures. Now, that's a lovely one right there. That's a great picture of a fox. Tell us about that one. That was just beautiful.
Yeah, so this one, we had a collector who really wanted a picture of a big wave. And usually we're scuba diving, but we were kind of psyched to get this. This is a place on Maui called Jaws, which actually gets up to 70 to 80-foot waves, so absolutely huge. So this one, we actually are in a helicopter, a really low-flying helicopter. We're actually getting sprayed and soaked by the wave, and we were taking wide-angle shots from the helicopter to kind of show the size and how massive and powerful the wave is.
And this is one of my favorites too, and one of your favorites,
This
correct?
is definitely my favorite. My brother, Dan, obviously took this one, and man, it was at the end of a dive after we used to be dive instructors and lead people on dives, and we found this guy mating, which is amazing. If you ever have a chance, Google octopus mating. But this guy actually got bit by an eel and was smart enough to know that his safest spot was to swim near us to get the eel to not follow him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he sort of hovered above Dan, and Dan captured this amazing picture, and I love it because of the contrast and the color changes. Like, it's just one of the best octopus pictures I've ever seen.
Well, let's talk about some of the contrast on some of these pictures as well, because it's not only the photographs, it's also how you guys present them. Because your gallery at the MOA is only here for the Christmas season, but it's not just, hey, I printed some stuff and I've got some old paper around and let's go. Yeah, we'll go. Man, you guys put this on metal, on aluminum. What is this?
Yeah, so it's actually aircraft aluminum.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. So it's actually a thin sheet of metal, and the ink is actually infused into the metal, which kind of makes the light reflect off it and give it that really cool look. We had always wanted to do an underwater art show.
Yeah.
So we actually did an underwater art show on Maui, and we had to find a way to make it waterproof, and this was a way to make our art waterproof.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really highlights those colors beautifully. And you guys have so much colorful stuff to find, much different than what you found when you learned to dive in Maine.
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah, much different than just a lobster.
Or an old fridge.
An old fridge.
Just sitting at the bottom of a big thing. Again, you guys can take people on trips, right? I mean, people can go with you to shoot stuff, right?
We try to plan 1 or 2 trips a year. We actually just before we came here, in July, we were in the Galapagos. We took 14 people to the Galapagos, and we planned sort of trips around what we want to take a photograph of and what we want to see, and then we say, who wants to come with us?
What a great passion you guys have found as a family. and to provide this stuff. It's good when people do what they're good at and enjoy doing it. And it's good to see you. It comes out in your work. It comes out with talking to you guys as well. John and Dan Cesere, thanks for joining us this morning. Of course, for more information on their art and their expeditions, you can go to CesereBrothers.com and their store at the Mall of America. It's just through Christmas, right?
Yeah, till the
You
end
guys,
of December.
what made you go real quick in 2 seconds? Why'd you come to Minnesota from Hawaii in the winter?
There's a lot of people in that mall.
You got a point. You got a point. What family? That's for sure. Susan's not watching, I know. A Christmas gift was purchased. Thank you guys very much for being here this morning.